Well, welcome back. I'm Linda Pike, President of the Johns Creek Business Association, and we are here this month with our March Member of the Month, Frank Leff with Water Out. And Frank has had his company, Water Out, here for the past 10 years in Johns Creek, and it's interesting. Frank came to know the Johns Creek Business Association through our scholarship program. Frank, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you came to know Johns Creek Business Association?
I was introduced to the association. My oldest daughter filled out a application for the scholarship and won one of y'all's first scholarships. I'm very happy to say. And then 2 or 3 years later, her younger sister, my other daughter, did the same and also won. So I've had 2 scholarship winners from the association.
That's great.
And have been involved with the association since that all started.
Wonderful. And you've had your company here, Water Out, which is a locally owned company, for the past 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And I understand that you came prior to opening your own business. You worked for Enterprise and ran quite a big operation for Enterprise rental cars.
I was with Enterprise for almost 25 years and basically had 60 branches and about 400 employees. I ran the rental operation here in Atlanta for the majority of that time.
Wonderful.
And then that gave me the exposure dealing with the claims industry with the insurance companies. The majority of Enterprise's business was dealing with people involved in accidents. And so there was a natural fit to then go dealing with the insurance companies on the property end versus the auto end.
Perfect, Frank. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Water Out and the services that you can provide?
Absolutely. We're a water damage specialist. Someone has water damage, whether it's broken pipe, hot water heater breaks, flood, whatever the reason, you should contact us as quickly as possible. We then come in and quickly identify using some of the equipment I have here, exactly what's wet, and then take the appropriate steps to get it dried. I try to come in and specialize in drying water extraction versus tear out. We try to be minimally invasive. And in many cases, that takes less time and dramatically less inconvenient for the customer.
And the nice thing with Frank's business, when you call Water Out, you get Frank. With his experience with Enterprise, he knows customer service is most important, and you're speaking with the president, so he'll take great care of you.
I'm involved in every project, every job. When you call, you're going to get me, not an answer, unless I'm on the phone or something. You'll get me directly.
Frank, could you show us some of your tools and what you use those for on your jobs? I thought they were quite interesting.
This is an infrared camera, and we can go in and quickly use this to determine what's wet, from ceilings to floors to walls, and immediate visualization. When things are wet, they're colder, and the infrared camera will quickly show that. We then confirm it using moisture meters. Also have hygrometers that tell us what the humidity is in the properties and such. And then once we have used this to determine what's wet, we then determine what's the best way to get it dry. Depending upon the source of the water and how long it's been wet, will then help us determine what needs to be done. But once again, I try to get in there and dry it in place versus doing tear out. I try to be as minimally destructive as possible, and it's reflected in my customer comments and such that I've gotten both on Kudzu and Angie's List. People really appreciate us doing that versus coming in and tearing things out first.
And one thing, Frank, that was mentioned too, you have a wonderful way of coming out, meeting with a homeowner who's in distress. They woke up in the middle of the night with the ceiling leaking or a flood in their basement, and they call Frank in, and he can lay out the project and what to expect at each step. So I know I had a situation at my home, and it is nice to know a professional who can tell you what you're going to expect, opposed to just panicking there.
Unfortunately, in many cases when I go to a customer, and I deal with commercial and residential, probably more residential than commercial, but I can deal with both. And sometimes I'll even get calls in the middle of the night when people had an emergency. And I deal with that. you know, it's important that I, you know, appraise the situation, and then I can quickly do my best to settle people down, make them feel more comfortable. It's unfortunately it's a tough situation to deal with for the customer. They're not used to dealing with it. I am. And in many cases, people are amazed when I tell them this is dramatically small compared to what I normally deal with.
Good. Frank is a local celebrity as well. He has been on Trustdale. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Know some contacts who know the Trustdale people, and the one thing I do is normally I tell customers, once I've dealt with them, what they can do themselves to avoid seeing me in the future and avoiding water damage issues. And I shared that with Trustdale, and that was taped on his show about a year or two ago. I've also been involved with 2 projects with the Extreme Makeover Home Edition show, you know, that's always real interesting, where they you know, are building a new home, basically rebuilding the people's homes in 5 days. They use us not because of water damage, but they use us in the drywall process, where they don't have time for the 2 or 3 days for the drywall mud to dry. Using our bigger water out system, it helps dry the structure dramatically fast, and works real well for those people. The water out system is newer technology in drying. You know, we've got the right tools for the right job, depending upon what the situation may be. And the water out is if you have a whole house that's flooded, a big commercial space that's flooded. I've got a trailer that incorporates heat and air exchange in the drying process. It doesn't just dry the air, it dries the structure. It's an amazing system, and we can generally dry everything in place. Furniture, carpet, pads, walls. It's an amazing system. Generally about 3 days we can have it bone dry, and normally drier than it was prior to the occurrence.
Yeah.
You know, we've also got the portable water out. If it's a smaller area, it also incorporates the same heat and air exchange. And then also for smaller situations, use dehumidifiers as well. The right tools for the right job, depending upon the need.
Great. Well, in addition to seeing Frank around town at the JCBA meetings, you'll probably catch him on the golf course too, because I understand that you enjoy golfing.
I do. I enjoy it and try to golf as best I can. Don't get to play as much as I'd like to, but it's fun. And I'm looking forward. We've got the Johns Creek Chambers golf outing is this upcoming Monday, and I'm with the team and looking forward to playing on that.
Okay. Good. Well, Frank, thank you so much. It was so nice to learn about your business and what our members, if they have an opportunity and know somebody that has a need, that they can refer to you.
Right. Well, Linda, thank you, and thank you for the association. If anyone ever has a need, please don't hesitate to call me. We're available 24/7. And even if it's just a question, I'll be happy to answer them as best I can.